Welcome, everybody. This is Edgardo, Balentine.
And this is Scott DiGregorio, and welcome to the Real Estate of Tomorrow podcast, where we're going to discuss the rapidly changing landscape of the real estate industry.
And the steps that you need to take today in order to survive tomorrow.
Look, I'm going to give you the perspective of a 25-year veteran, somebody who has been there and done that.
Which is a slime for all fart, okay?
Screw you, man.
Look, I'm going to give you a fresh perspective from somebody that's applying those steps today.
So that basically means you're young and you don't know shit.
All right. Let's get this started.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the greatest podcast, the Real Estate of Tomorrow podcast. I am your host, Scott DiGregorio, along with my fellow host,
Edgardo Balentine.
So I upgraded myself from co-host to host.
Yeah, I know. I see that.
But I did not downgrade you. I made you a fellow host.
Thank you very much.
Look, man, we got a killer topic today that's super relevant to any market, but I'm going to argue even more relevant in today's crazy market that's going to be here for a while.
Why is that? Let's just start with why is this more relevant in a competitive market than it would be on an easy market?
Because everybody's trying to get business from the same places.
Boom.
And there's so many other places to get the business. And here's another piece of it too, and I talk about this a lot in my seminars, is that this is an easier way to get business.
Why?
Long term.
Why?
Because you're setting up referral sources instead of chasing one-off clients that are going to buy one house or sell one house.
Another thing that's important about this is the people that you get through this type of sources have different motivations. And oftentimes these motivations are stronger and they lead to being less worried about what's happening in the current market, but think long term.
Right.
So what are we talking about, bro?
So we're talking about alternative lead sources and creating a referral machine inside your real estate practice.
That's right.
So we're talking about financial planners, CPAs, divorce attorneys, estate attorneys, life insurance professionals, things of that nature.
So your typical realtor does the door knocking, does after FISBOs, farming, all those things. And all those things are great. The problem is, like you're saying, there's, what was the statistic that we saw yesterday? It was like one active listing for every 250 realtors or something like that.
Yeah, there's 1.5 million real estate agents, and there were like 700,000 or 800,000 listings.
Yeah,
and that's a problem.
And everybody's hitting the same market.
Yeah.
So look, this is somewhat of a series that we've been doing, right? We talked about what's called the Dreams and Goals call in the episode on how to basically win a client on the first conversation.
Absolutely.
We talked about the importance of the CRM. We also, last episode, we talked about the importance of a CSM.
Yes.
Which is not the same as a CRM. This is the Customer Success Manager.
Absolutely. And we talked about that in order to become a true advisor in your clients' lives, in order to provide real value to your clients, and being friends with them on Facebook or just friends with them is not valuable in a professional manner. But in order to provide real value to them, you need a team around you that's beyond your typical team of a lender, a home inspector, and a title company, or an escrow company if you're out west. It has to do with having all of those other professionals, having those conversations with people, and providing value beyond real estate.
Right, stepping out of just the real estate transaction. We want to be sticky on all aspects of somebody's life, and this is the thing. Who are you to think that you can step into that role? But if you think about it, the purchase of a home is such an impactful process. It's such an impactful moment that it lends itself to be able to take a holistic approach and really advise somebody for not just the transaction itself, but for everything that comes after that, to talk about different goals. Because look, think about it. When you buy a home, that purchase, whether it's an investment property or the 10th investment property, you are, what is it that you always say? You're just checking that checkbox on your list of life, right? Your life goals. So it lends itself for you as a realtor or as a lender to really be a part of not just that one checkbox, but the ones that should come afterwards.
Absolutely.
Whether the client knows it or not. So if you follow our advice, you do the dreams and goals called upfront, then you establish a client success manager. The next normal step would be to be able to, when you ask a client, hey, are you all protected when it comes to life insurance? Do you have a estate planning attorney that you can reach out to? Well, the next natural step would be to say, I have a guy for you. I will introduce you to somebody. And that opens itself to a lot of opportunities to not only refer people to them, but obviously get referrals back from them.
Absolutely. And you got to keep in mind too, when you go and meet with these professionals, and trust me, you're not the only real estate agent that's reaching out to them, although there's a small number. The beauty of it is that the conversation you have with that CPA, financial advisor, estate attorney, life insurance salesperson, whatever, is a totally different thing. Because now you're going to them and you're going, look, this is the system I've built. This is the system I use. This is how you fit into it. These are the conversations I have, and this is how I can provide you with referrals and value.
But think about it, it's just that easy, right?
It is.
You don't even need to know much more about anything else. You can just say, look, when I meet a client, when I do my regular presentation, I ask the clients these 10 questions. And oftentimes people don't have the answers to this question. And I would like to have somebody that I can introduce that will give them as much value as I can provide them and that I can feel comfortable introducing them to.
And now all of a sudden, even if that financial planner, will just pick that profession, so for consistency, even if that financial planner knows 10 agents, which by the way, they do, all of a sudden now it's the 10 agents that they know that all do the same thing, all say the same thing, all act the same way. And now you come in with a radically different approach as to how things are done, and boom, it's you and all of them. You don't even have competition at that point because it's a totally different conversation. I said this the other day. It's like it's like me and you from Colombia, me from America, sitting down and talking about the game of football.
Right.
We're talking about two different sports.
Exactly.
And even though you're still selling real estate, you're playing a totally different sport. And that is where you can start building up your business and generating, creating a referral machine inside your real estate practice.
And without sounding like an ass, but look, I mean, like I tell my client, my team here, if you call a financial advisor, if you call a financial planner, like you say, if you call an insurance agent and you tell them, look, this is the thing, every single client that I meet, I make sure that they are living the best life that they can be. And I understand the importance of having somebody like you in their life. So I ask them these questions, and I would like to interview you. I would like to talk to you to learn a little bit more about your business, to see if you align with what I align, to see if I can start sending all my clients that I see a hole in this for you to help them, for you to advise them, for you to help them to become the best they can be. What are they going to say? No, screw you. And I'm sorry. And if they take any other approach, then yes, that's my mission in life, that's my mission in this business, then you don't need these people like that. You don't want to introduce your clients to people like that.
And let me go even further on that. And I think this is really, really, really critical, which is you need to surround yourself with people that are philosophically aligned with you. Okay? If you really believe that you want to be one of the most valuable people in your clients' lives, and you then have to surround yourself with people that feel the same way. And I'm here to tell you, most won't.
Yeah, and let me go even further. But it's true. It's absolutely true.
Do not pick who you think could send you the most business. I want you to interview people to find people that believe what you believe. Because all of a sudden now you're going to have a tribe around you of people that want to do nothing more than provide value. Because otherwise, you're going to send your clients to these people and they might sell them crap they don't need. So the philosophical alignment has to be the forefront of your decision making.
Now, you said something that's extremely important, and I totally agree with you. However, I am afraid, and I know people like that would listen to what you just said, and out of the last 10 minutes, will just take those 30 seconds and go, that's why I don't do that. That's exactly why I don't feel comfortable introducing people to a financial advisor, because if they don't do things to the highest level, then I look bad.
All right, so rip that apart.
I understand that, right? But that's BS. Okay, that's an inaction. That's a loser mentality, a
It's an excuse.
fear-driven mentality that a lot of people have. Take advantage of that fear that you have, or that inexperience that you have when it comes to financial advisors, and interview a bunch of them, learn about them. Right now, if you don't have one person that you are in love with and that you are committed to give them every single one of your clients, this is the opportunity to reach out to as many financial advisors as you can and learn about the business. And look, as a secondary benefit of this, of you learning about them and learning if they fit your client, you might get a lot of business back because you're talking to so many of them, talking to them about the opportunity that they will have to help your clients. And look, you have to believe that this is an opportunity that you're giving them to be aware of, to be able to touch your database and to help people.
Look, one of the things that is important in our business, we talk about all the time, is the concept of getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Because here's the thing, when you're uncomfortable, you're growing. And when you're comfortable, you're not. And to really master this business, real estate and more, look, selling a house isn't hard. Doing a loan isn't hard. Selling lots of houses or doing lots of loans is hard, because now it's systems and structures and all those things. So if you want to close 3 deals a year, there's a lot of people out there and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe this isn't the right advice for you, but if you're trying to build a real big real estate practice, then you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and also humility. It's fine to sit down with somebody and go, look, I have no idea how your world works, but I really want to add the knowledge from your industry to my clients' lives and make a difference to them. Educate me, teach me. Just humble it.
Look, and ask them the questions that a client would ask you. Not that a client would ask them, but what a client would ask you. If you're not 100% of what a estate planning attorney does, or why is that important, ask them that. Just, there's nothing wrong with you calling one of them and say, look, I realize, I understand that having an estate plan is extremely important. I don't know why. My clients don't know why. To be honest, half of my clients don't even know what that is. We just know that it's important. Help me understand why that's important so I can communicate that to the client and literally change their lives.
And look,
And again, I go back to that. What are they going to say? No, screw you. No,
Right.
Please don't do that. Like, come on. It's the easiest marketing call you're ever going to make.
And look, all of that being said, we both received a fair amount of pushback from our teammates that
Yes.
are 100% dialed in with everything we're doing. So the objections are understandable, but just push through them, and don't waver from your vision towards the end goal. So I wanna segue into another area of alternative lead sources, but I want to make sure you don't have anything else to finish up on what we've talked about so far.
Well, I want to take this even further. No, I'm good.
So let's pivot now and talk about a specific alternative lead source, which is divorce attorneys.
Boom.
Okay, and
Awkward.
I talk about this all the time. Now, look, recommending divorce attorneys. So talking about recommending divorce attorneys to your happily married customers when they're closing on their house is probably not a good idea. So we're going to go in a different direction here. And this is something we see all the time, okay? When a couple owns a home and they're going to get divorced, one of a couple things is going to happen. Number one person's going to stay in that house and they're going to refi it. So it's a husband and wife. The wife stays in the house. She refis it out of the husband's name, and the husband has to do what? That's right, buy a house. Okay, so wife does a refi, gives the husband, gives the spouse the half of their equity, and now that person uses those proceeds to buy another house, and you have a transaction, and I have a transaction. Or the house is filled with bad memories for them. They're going to sell the house and each buy something separate. Maybe, hey, we don't need this big house now that we're getting separated. So now there's a listing and 2 sales. And here's the really beautiful thing with it. Here's what's never happened before. A husband and wife are unhappy. the relationship is in a bad place.
That's happened before.
Yes, haven't gotten there. The one spouse says to the other one, you know what? I'm sick of you. I hate you. And the other one goes, yeah, screw you. I hate you too. Well, I want a divorce. Yeah, well, I want a divorce too. Hey, you think maybe we should hold off on that divorce because interest rates have jumped up lately, and I think it might not be the best economically feasible time to do this. No! That is not what freaking happens. What happens is they get divorced. And what happens. And the beauty of this is that all of the things we're talking about today market-proof your business. Now, Edgardo, I'm sure you've seen in plenty of divorce decrees where it'll say, okay, wife to retain home and refinance into her name within 6 months or 12 months.
Right.
And then the person comes to you for the mortgage, okay? The house is still in their name and they go, yeah, she didn't qualify.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's a disaster.
It's a train wreck.
It's a disaster.
And now all of a sudden, to not count that person's the ex's mortgage payment against them, you got to get canceled mortgage checks from the ex. That's going to go well.
Yeah.
When I started talking to divorce attorneys about, hey, if you're going to refinance, let me qualify them before the divorce to make sure the refinance is feasible, they looked at me like I was crazy. They were like, that's never crossed my mind. I'm like, how many divorces have you handled? Thousands.
Yeah. And it goes back to, I mean, you're just talking about what I said at the beginning, which is different motivations. At that point, the market doesn't matter. What's happening with the rates doesn't matter. How many buyers, like COVID doesn't matter, because they are motivated by something different than just the itch of buying a house.
Absolutely.
Or selling a house. And I know we're in the divorce attorney space right now, but look, even if you get a lead from a tax attorney or something like that, the client's motivations are stronger because they go beyond just the number of this particular transaction. Because they see, look, I always say this, we sell the best product in the world, right? We sell beautiful real estate, which is the highest source of wealth in history in America and everywhere in the world. And particularly us, we do it in one of the best places in the world. Right?
Absolutely.
So as if that wasn't value enough, these people that come from all these other sources also have other motivations to do this. And I think that a divorce attorney client highlights that even more than any other client, because they have the necessity to do this right now. And from a pure numbers perspective, you most of the time get not just one transaction, but a couple of transactions, right?
Absolutely. And look,
they need to sell, they need to buy, they need to do a couple of things. I think it's also worth mentioning that when it comes to things like that, there's the human aspect of things, which is you have to be very, very mindful of the fact that as if buying a house wasn't stressful enough, going through this process when somebody's going through a divorce is you have to be the type of person, or you have to have the discipline to really be mindful of that, aware of that, take the time and the energy to be able to do that. But I have to say something. If you treat that client properly, because it's so hard to do so, and because people don't do that, you will forever have that divorce attorney's loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, when I sit down with divorce attorneys, so I tell them that, and then I ask them, hey, when they're trying to split up the assets, all right, split up the equity, what do you use to get the valuation on their current real estate? And virtually 100% of them say Zillow. Now, look, we've done episodes early on, okay, where we talked about the fact that Zestimates are getting more and more and more accurate, okay? This insane market has broken their algorithm.
Yeah, that didn't age well.
Okay, when I recorded that crap was accurate, but as we sit here in 2022, it isn't anymore.
Yeah.
So, and what I would do if I was in real estate is I would put together your last 10 transactions, or 5 transactions, or ask your whatever, and all of a sudden, go through public records, doesn't matter, and put together data, right? Attorneys like data. Put together data and go, hey, here's the problem with online estimates. And I am more than happy for free with the 48-hour turn time, okay, to meet with your customers and provide an accurate CMA. And here's why I need to go inside the house. And here's why I need to do this. And here's why I need to do that. So now you're engaging with the customer. And all of a sudden now, you are making a divorce attorney's life easier. And frankly, to a large extent, cutting down on their work, which cuts down on the people's attorney's fees. It's just everybody wins.
And look, you and I know this, man, but when you get a referral from a divorce attorney, do they shop you around? Do they look at other people? Like, there's so much going on at that moment.
For commissions.
Come on, there's so much going on right now that if the divorce attorney says, look, this is the guy that we send people, or this is the girl that we send people over when this happens, because they understand that we need to do this in a certain amount of time. They understand everything that it's involved in this process. Look, I really, really hardly think that at that point somebody's gonna go, yeah, but my cousin just got the real estate license. That's not the time to do that.
And let's package this up with our last episode, okay, where we talked about being a real value-adding advisor to people's lives. So now you sit down with this husband and or wife, depending on how you do it,
or whatever,
and their lives are changing. Their economic lives are changing. And now you come in, not only do you provide them with a CMA, which every single real estate agent could do, but now you're talking to them about all of this help you're going to provide them. So now, not only are you the person providing a CMA, but you are the person that's going to help them with this transition in life. I've gone through a divorce, and I know you haven't. It is overwhelming, all of the things you have to start thinking about. I know what my ex had to struggle with. I know what I had to struggle with. If somebody would have come in and provided solutions to that, oh man, there's no selling involved. That is a done deal. And like you said, I am not only is the attorney loyal forever, but I, as the customer, will never forget what you did for me during one of my most trying times. You know, the three most stressful times in a people's life. One of them is divorce.
That's right. What are the other two?
Buying a house and death.
That's probably not that stressful.
Well, not to the person who died. Right. Okay.
let me give you guys a pro tip, and I really, really want you to. I think this is worth giving and taking notes and everything.
I'm on bated breath.
Yeah. I made this mistake. When you are in the process of calling these divorce attorneys and setting up appointments and calling them and introducing them to, all the value that you can give them and their clients, make sure that when you write these appointments in your calendar, if you share a calendar with your spouse, you explain to him or her what you are doing.
Oh yeah, that's
because
a pro tip.
What I did was I set up a bunch of appointments with divorce attorneys, and I had divorce attorney whatever, divorce attorney whatever, divorce attorney whatever. And then one day my wife came to me and she's like, hey, so 5 meetings with divorce attorneys this week. Is there anything I need to know? So just to avoid that conversation, I would just either talk to your wife or husband first, or I would just not necessarily put divorce attorney in the calendar. So that, my friends, is worth the listen to this episode.
So look, we have a trying market that's going to be a trying market for years to come. Okay, and there's lots of data to support that. Everybody says that. We all know that. And you cannot, if we're in a market that's never existed before, you cannot run your business the way you've always run it. It's like, when it's said like that, like, it has to sound illogical to everybody. So this is a way that market proofs your business. This is a way that makes it that you do not have to wake up every single day and go chase more customers, that you have referrals coming to you, and you could really provide value to people's lives and really help them during a very trying time and really grow your business in the process. Every time we put something together, right, that we try to launch in our business, we always are thinking about how can we do this a way that every single human being involved wins. And this is obviously checks all those boxes.
And come on, like, how you're still selling real estate, you're still in your wheelhouse, you're still talking about what you know. Like, it doesn't take a lot of skill to be able to pivot everything that you already know towards this is just, you just have to be conscious of that. You just have to actually put an effort in knowing that this is the value that you provide to this particular situation. But it's still in your wheelhouse. You're still selling real estate.
It is. And look, scheduling the appointments and getting the meetings with the divorce attorneys takes some work. And I know I mentioned in the last episode about the Challenger sale. Man, does that book apply here. So get that book, read through it. It's a really good book. And when you're setting up the meeting with the divorce attorneys, just like I did, what you should be doing is how can you challenge the way they think about this particular part of what they do? Because when I do that with them, their eyes open up and all of a sudden there's an opportunity. You know what? Can you meet with all the partners, or could you come in and talk with a few other attorneys? All of a sudden it is an entirely different conversation.
Again, actionable things, right? Let's finish with this. Actionable things. You just mentioned this. I think it's worth mentioning again. Right now, an easy thing is, hey, the market has changed a lot. There's a lot of things that are shifting. The estimates of the world are not as accurate as they were before. So this is an easy 48-hour time frame where I can meet with a client, give you a good CMA, give you a good idea of what the value is, so you can set them up for success when it comes to splitting the assets. Boom. Easy.
Absolutely, man. All right, so the questions we always like to ask you. What are you doing today to be successful in the real estate of tomorrow? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Do me a favor, share the crap out of this thing. This is the best real estate podcast out there. You know it, we know it, make sure your friends know it. And I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Find yourself a divorce attorney. Well, thank you guys for listening. And now it's your turn to implement everything you learned today.
Look, you have a question, you have a topic for a future episode?
Share with us.
Yeah, tell us what you're doing. What are you doing today so you can be successful tomorrow? Send us an email at success@realestateoftomorrow.com.
And don't forget to leave us a review, an honest review.
Screw an honest review. Leave us a 5-star review. And for every 5-star review we get, we're going to send you a badass real estate meme t-shirt.
Those shirts are hilarious.
See ya.